Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to focus on all of the elements in the ongoing Humble Bundle that are useful outside of the Unity game engine. So if you're a Unity developer, stay tuned because we're going to cover tons of 3D models today. But if you're a Godot or Unreal or CryEngine or Lumberyard or whatever other game engine developer, pay attention to this one because this is showing you the assets that you can use in your own game engine. And you're going to find in this bundle there is quite a few number of 3D assets, and then there's some sound and music files. We'll look at the music quickly. We won't be covering the sound today because this video is going to be long enough as it is. We're going to be covering quite a few topics here. I was actually going to do both of the bundles together. So on today I was going to do FPS, games, and game dev assets, as well as all of the 3D models in the ongoing fantasy games and game dev assets bundle, which got extended for another 2 weeks. Thing is, while I was putting together all the demos for the FPS one, an interesting thing happened. So here we go. This is my project. All your models are belong to us. Let's go ahead and show it in the Explorer and take a look at something. So this is with just the Sci-fi models added. My project is at 35,000 files and the 41.5 gigabytes worth of assets. So yeah, I think I'm going to do this as two videos. So on Sunday, I will cover the fantasy assets. Today, we're going to look at the sci-fi military stuff. And I'm going to showcase, again, all of this stuff, or at least almost all of this stuff, can be used in a broad variety of engines. So for example, here is one of the assets. It's a 3D sci-fi gun. We'll get to it when we look at the pack in just a second. Here it is running in the Unity game engine. Now here, it is running in the Godot game engine, and here it is running in the Unreal game engine. Now, when you're dealing with Godot or Unreal, you're going to have to do more setup. Basically, you're going to have to bring the model in, and it's going to bring in the materials, such as this guy right here. But what you're going to have to do is basically bring in all the texture maps and hook them up manually. The same deal happens with animations. When you're dealing with animated creatures, and when you're dealing with them in Unity, it's literally just deal with a drag and drop thing, whereas you'll have to recreate all of the animations using the assorted FBX files in the other game engine. So animations are going to be more work. Setting up things isn't going to be as simple as using a prefab, but all of the files are basically FBX, and all of the textures are generally things like Targa or PNG or so on. So as you can see from this particular example, here we are in Unreal Engine 5, here we are in Godot Engine 3.2x, and here we are, and where we're going to stay in the Unity game engine. So let's jump in at the very first asset. So we're going to go back on over to the bundle for a second, and what we're looking at today, again, is the models that you can use in any environment whatsoever. So that includes the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack we will look at today, the 3D Sci-Fi Kit Volume 3, the Animated Hands with Weapons Pack, the Post-apocalyptic World Pack, and then the Sci-Fi Weapons Arsenal, that's where that example came from, by the way, the Citadel Desert Environment, and the Shooting Range Interiors. We're also going to briefly look at the Colossal Game Music Collection. We are not going to look at the two sound effect packs, the guns and explosion sounds and the Sci-Fi gun sounds, but those are just audio files, so you can use those in whatever game engine you wish. So let's do this basically in order that they show up in the bundle, and we're going to start things off with the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack Volume 3, I think it was, and head on back over to Unity. All right, so, oops, that's not Unity, that's Unreal. Let's close that down, and we're not going to save anything. All right, so let's go to the right game engines. We'll get rid of the Godot as well, and we're not going to save anything there either. All right, so here we are back in our focus of the Unity game engine. And again, all these assets are going to be so much easier to work with in Unity because these are obviously designed for it. And here we're going to see a showcase scene I set up with the assets from the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack Volume 2, not 3, 2. So you can see we've got a number of different boss characters here, like so, very high resolution. By the way, this pack took forever to import. It took about a half an hour, I think. And you can see these characters are all pretty well set up. So what you're going to see here is they've got full animation on them, full rigging, really good quality textures going on there. Any one of these guys, we'll take a look at it. So here, this guy has animation controller attached to it. Let's open that guy up. And you see in the Unity game engine, we've got a very elaborate control system here, a number of different animations for this guy. So here you see you've got a death animation. You can preview it down here. Everything that you need to go on. So we got some strafing or a stomp attack. Let's see the stomp attack in action. Okay, I don't know why I'm not getting the stomp attack down here. Maybe I'm just choosing the wrong preview. Stomp attack. Where's my stomp attack? Walk. All right, so we got a walk going on there. Anyways, everything is rigged, set up. You got animation controllers all set up and ready to go. So this is the set of bosses. Now, there's a number of things in this actual pack. So there's the bosses. This is the creatures. So you got a nice collection of creatures. Again, everything you see here, they are fully animated. A number of different sets of animation. By the way, if you are working with this in another system, all the animations are separate. So here, I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just picking one at random. The FBX files, for example, if I go here, we look at them, you're going to find in the FBX, you've got the character FBX. Okay, so I picked one without, all the animations are shared on that guy. Okay, so let's do this with the bosses instead. So go to the bosses. Here's this guy, for example, the FBX. You're going to find there is the base FBX, which is the character mesh, but all of the separate animations are there as well. So you can import those animations into whatever engine you want and get them working as well. So here, again, a set of creatures. Again, really nice work going on there. Go on back here, look at the next one. This is the robots collection. Bum, bum, bum. There you go, set of robots that you can work with. Again, everything is rigged in animation, although technically that is an exosuit and not a robot. And then finally we have, I think it was character shooter. So if you are making a shooter style game, you've got a number of sci-fi style fully rigged, and there are a number of these, by the way. I'm just showcasing one example. They've got a number of different weapon setups and control rigs. You see these guys are in T-poses, but there are a number of animations available. I think these guys are all animated, to be honest. Let me just check out and see. I think they all have the same default animation, so it's not going to look that exciting, but if you go ahead and run this, you can see they all have an idle animation running right now. They have shooting, running, jumping, so on and so forth kind of animations. And the cool thing here is if you are working with this pack, everything is prefab. So if you want to bring something in, so let's bring in one of the bosses, sure. So here, it's just basically a prefab and drop it in. There's how you instantiate things in the world. So you got a fully rigged and animated character there ready to go. Super simple to work with. Now, if you look at some of the shooters, for example, here, this guy Arkin, you're going to find prefabs. We've got a couple of different setups for him. Whereas here we go to the Elite Trooper and prefabs. You can see here you've got a number of different, oh yeah, I didn't mean to put him in the world mesh, but that configuration, for example, or that one. So you see here, slightly different skins and camos and options are available to you as well. So that is the Sci-Fi Characters Mega Pack Volume 1 collection. Now we're going to look at the Sci-Fi kit. I'll be right back. I'll just load it for you. Now this one is more of a set for creating sci-fi style designs and environments. Here is one of the examples. You can see the sort of stuff that's included in the pack. So you've got things like ships and skimmers and radars and so on. So if you need to populate a game world, that's what this thing is capable of. We got a number of different examples showcasing. Is this literally just a planet? Nope. We've got up here. So now we're in space. We've got jump gates. We've got some planets going on. Let me just head on over here. So you got jump gates. We got some ships and so on and so forth. Then we go over here. So I skipped over an example, by the way. This is a high altitude example, and is there anything in this, or is literally that it? Now we got some spaceships. Come on. I forget the hotkey to focus. Where is focus? I thought it was F, but, oh, there it is, yeah. Oh, they were still loading. So here you can see a number of other ships. So if you're trying to create a sci-fi style game, could be a good choice for you. Then we got some turrets. And did they load already, or are they still loading? Oh, they're down here. It's one of those things I find with these examples is you end up with everything is in a different position. Oh, it's double F. That's why. Downside to using so many different game engines. So here you got a number of different sci-fi turrets and so on. It kind of gives you an idea of the things included in this one. So if you need to populate basically sci-fi environments, in this case we're going to see a space station, and eventually whenever it loads, wherever it is, here let me just, again, we'll focus in on it. There we go. So everything you need here to create a spaceship environment or a space station style environment. I think this one has an interior, so we can go inside of it. Yeah, so here you can see sci-fi hallways and so on. So if you're looking for that kind of a setting, all of the stuff you need is available here. You're going to find everything here is available, again, as a series of prefabs. So you got builds, special effects, walls, widgets, gizmos, so on, that you can put together to create. These are all the pieces you would use to make sci-fi environments, again, walls and so on. And then over here we have props, and then we have, again, I think we had a selection for, where did the ships go? Scenes, shaders, da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, you kind of get an idea. There's a ton of stuff in here, and for the people that are using a different engine, it's all available as FBX files. So if your game engine supports importing FBX files, you get an absolute ton of assets in the Sci-fi 3D kit. Now we're going to move on to the Animated Hands with Weapons pack. Now this collection, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you are working on creating a first-person shooter, because a lot of times your perspective is something like this. So you're looking down like that, or like that, or like that, and so on. So it's a collection of arms of different styles, all animated, and then accessories. So you'll see here we've got a number of different guns. We've got lanterns. We've got fireman's axe, different guns again. And the cool thing about all the variety of guns here that you're seeing in action here is we also have a number of accessories that we could put on them. So if you want to have scopes or laser dots or silencers or so on and so forth, you can spec out your guns that way and kind of just drag and drop them into place to create more complicated versions. And you're going to notice, once again, everything here is also available as a prefab. So if you want to use a gun, it's literally a matter of just drag and drop it into the scene. So, boom. And I don't know why that didn't work. Oh, there it is. It's just offset. Oh, it's got arms attached to it. Now this one, with the way it's set up, there's the other one I created. So the pivot point's a little strange. And I did find this one worked a little bit worse when trying to export it to other engines. Just some glitches I ran into, but this one's a pretty straightforward one. It's kind of a first-person view, like so. So you've got the arm animations that you need, and then of course you have multiple different weapons, which, as you can see here, you can easily swap between. And as you can see down here, you can easily customize. So if you are creating a shooter, well, you're going to need guns. And this one gives you lots and lots of guns. So that's the Animated Hands with Weapons pack. Next, we're going to look at the Post-apocalyptic World pack. All right, and here we are. This is the example environment that you can create from it. Now, I don't know why, but out of the box, it is like super bloom. So what I do is I come on in here, go to Global Scene Effects in the sample, go to Post Effects, and turn bloom off. And then suddenly, hey, you can actually see the environment. So I don't know what's going on there, but just turn off or turn down bloom, and things get a lot better. So you can see the world has gone poorly, and there's no lockdown requests. So I think in this world, COVID was even worse, apparently. And this world is Florida, apparently. You can actually see from the signs down over here, I think it is. You're just out of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale and Orlando exit on I-95 are coming up. But you can see what you are working with, a number of different pieces you can go together to create an environment. You can actually see kind of an overview of them here. Let me just get that loaded up. All right, so here you can see the showcase, all the various different pieces that went together. By the way, there is something called Octave 3D that is for placing modular levels together. That is in the Fantasy Bundle. That goes really well together with this kit. But you can see here, it's a number of modules you go together to create your own worlds and environments. It's not quite as post-apocalyptic. It's like near-term post-apocalyptic, in my opinion. Not, you know, so we got a little bit of Fallout going on, but this definitely isn't Fallout, like Fallout 4 kind of world. So that was the Post-apocalyptic World pack. Now we're going to move on to the Sci-fi Weapons Arsenal. That's the one we saw in action earlier on. Alrighty, so here we are, naturally zoomed really far away again. This feels like a Matrix scene for sure. And here you can see it is a collection of sci-fi style guns. So down here we got, I don't know, I don't even know what to call most of these. A rocket launcher of some form with rockets, kind of a Gatling gun style. We got some accessories like knives and different grenades going on down here. We have some phaser style weapons, rifles, various different rifle sorts. And these are built into various different kits. So come down here, we'll see, by the way, they have LWRP and Universal Render Pipeline and HDRP setups going on as well. And there's a number of different prefabs. So if you want to bring something in, plasma rifle, sci-fi rifle, rocket, and so on. Super simple to work with, super straightforward. So if you need sci-fi style weapons for your game, well, that is what this pack is all about. And this is the one I showcased bringing the FBX files over into other engines. You saw how simple it is to deal with these things. Next up, we're going to take a look at the desert environment, town, and palace Citadel. This one's pretty straightforward. It's another kit for creating an environment. So you can see up here, kind of a demonstration level of it. We have like a castle. I don't think there's interiors to any of this stuff. No. So you can see here kind of that look going on here. And we got a number of different environments. Everything you can see here to create this stuff. I do believe a few of these things do have some interiors. We got interior courtyards going on. Some of them do, some of them do not. But you see, everything you need to create this setup is in this pack. Now, I do want to notice one thing. Living at this house has to suck. You got basically like a 1 in 5 chance of dying every time you've got to walk down to your home. So again, I think if I go into the castle here... No interiors at all. Okay, so you see here, it's basically a module kit for creating... this kind of map environment. Pretty straightforward on the whole. And then next up, we're going to move on to the shooting range. Probably the most disappointing asset in this pack. It's not that the asset is bad by any means. It's just very, I don't know, limited. It's everything you need to create a gun range type environment, so shooting conditions and so on. Although weirdly enough, no targets, which I found extremely weird. Oops, that was the lighting. Open this one up, kind of a slightly different configuration of the same thing. And then this one, again, different setup, some PCs and so on. Definitely the most underwhelming thing in this pack. And the weird thing, again, is no targets. I find that incredibly strange about this asset pack, but that is the shooting range environment. And yeah, that is it for the graphics pack. Now, the one other thing that's in here, I'm just going to showcase it. It doesn't quite totally fit in, but... it's the music pack, and I pulled that in as well because it is gigantic. At least I think I pulled it in. Nope. Instead, what I did is downloaded it, but I did not pull it in. What I'm actually going to show you is the contents of this package for when this pulls down. This is an audio pack, so if you need royalty-free music, this is actually 20 packs of music together in one archive here. So the Colossal Games music pack is 4.86 gigabytes in size, and well, this could take a minute. So I'll get back to you as soon as the import is ready to bring these things in. All right, so here you can go from the import. Let's just expand that out a bit. You can see an idea. So you're dealing with a fantasy music pack. You've got a number of different songs. A lot of them are looping, which means the beginning and the end of the song are the same, so that if you play it on loop, you never really notice it's seamless. Everything here is in WAV file format. So that is the first selection of songs is fantasy music. We've got a number of different tracks there in different loops and not loops. Then we have a rock music, heavy metal volume 1, volume 2, rock music volume 1. Then we get into horror music. So we even have apocalyptic music going on here. They're not really going for trademark titles here. So we got Last of Us and Night of the Dead. But we have another horror collection available there. Horror volume 2. Emotional music, and so on and so forth. So you can see here we got a number of different genres. We got retro music, chip tunes. We got world music. Here's a collection of Asian-inspired songs. Medieval music, action music. So you get an idea of just how many tracks are actually included in this. Now we have a number of different sci-fi music packs there, 2 full volumes of sci-fi music, and then we finish it off with casual music. And can I read this without importing it? So select none. We'll import that. We'll just bring the README in. I don't think there's much. I actually think this is the README right here. But let's go check. Just make sure there's nothing weird with the license. Where did that pull in? The Colossal Game Music Pack README. All right, here we go. Thank you for your download. If you enjoyed the content, do not forget to leave a rating. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so that's about the extent of what they say. So yeah, that is the Colossal Game Music Pack. Everything is in WAV format. WAV is pretty much as universal as it gets. You could bring that into something like Audacity and transform it into OGG Vorbis or MP3 if you want to cut down on file size. But there is not a platform that does not handle WAV. You're trading off basically CPU time for memory space. WAV files are huge, but they're also kind of the raw format that you can go ahead and turn into whatever you want out of the pack. So that is the final asset in the pack. That was the Colossal Game Music Pack. Now do keep in mind, there's also sound effect packs for sci-fi guns and explosions, and foot noises. I'm just not going to cover them in this video. And do keep in mind, I am going to do follow-up videos on assets, definitely UFPS. and a few other ones that you guys have been requesting. But I thought I would focus this weekend instead on the models and assets that can be used in any game engine. So if you're sitting on the fence as a Unity or Unreal or, of course, Godot developer or other game engines, hopefully today's video proved useful to you. If you do want to check it out, if you use my link, you can send a small commission to Game From Scratch, which, by the way, I thank you so much if you do that. Also, again, since this got so big, I did split it into two. They extended out the FPS, the Fantasy Games and Game Dev Asset Bundle, so there's another almost 2 weeks available to pick that one up. I covered all of the assets I'm going to cover in it. And by the way, when I mentioned that level design asset earlier on, it's this guy, Octave 3D. That would be a useful one for the map pack that we saw, the Sci-fi kit, for example, in the Post-apocalyptic world pack. It makes placing assets in the world really easy. So if you didn't check that one out, I did do a video on that one. But I'm going to do a follow-up on Sunday, I hope, of the assets in here. This guy, this guy, this guy, and so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys find that useful. Yeah, that's it. So that is all of the 3D models in the FPS Unity bundle. Again, as you saw, most of these assets can be used in other game engines. The licensing allows it. And the process, of course, the workflow is going to be harder because you have to set up the animations yourself. The animations are there, but you need to hook them up in your other engine, and you're going to probably have to recreate the texture maps. The texture maps are all there, but the materials need to have the proper textures applied. Well, that's it. Otherwise, it's pretty simple to get them working in other engines, as we saw in this video. If there's also interest in exporting from Unity to other game engines, there's some extensions out there, for example, for exporting as GLTF files directly from Unity. If there's some interest in that, maybe I'll do a video on that as well. But as you see, in almost every single case, you come down and you look at these assets. So for example, here is our project. There is all of it. So there is the stuff in it. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'll search for star.fbx. And what you're going to see is there are literally, I think it's about 1,500 assets we looked at today. So here you see a lot of these are just empty animations, for example, that you could bring in, but everything is just stored as FBX files in the project. So bringing them into other engines should be pretty straightforward. The only times I found a little bit of weirdness is some of the rigs didn't work out immediately for me. Probably takes some troubleshooting there. FBX can always be a little bit of a problematic format. And there are also some tools to actually export from inside of the Unity game engine. So if you have trouble getting something out, maybe a plugin will actually work better for you. But in most cases, these things are available just straight out as FBX files in your project structure. And as you can see, there are a lot of them in here. So that is the collection of 3D assets, and of course, one huge collection of royalty-free music files in WAV format. There is more here, again, that is cross-platform in nature or cross-engine in nature. And again, I will cover more of the add-ons in upcoming videos. So if you're waiting for things like the Ultimate FPS, don't worry, I will be covering that over the next week or two. All right, that's it. Hopefully that was useful. Let me know what you think. Comments down below, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video where we cover the fantasy models. That's it. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.